We have had very typical spring weather here in Missouri, so we've had a lot of really warm days and then windy days that shift the temperatures. And a lot of times it happens all in one day. It'll be super warm, the wind will come in, and then a cold front will follow, which is pretty typical. The weather here is so unpredictable, especially in the springtime. But we have some big goals for our garden this year, and that's one of the big things that we wanted to work on this week. Our chickens have definitely figured out that it is springtime. They have been laying so many eggs, so a lot of my breakfasts have been focusing on using up as many eggs as I can. And to kick off the week, I am going to start by making a French toast casserole. I had an extra loaf of sourdough bread and so many eggs, so I thought this was the perfect recipe to start off a beautiful spring week here in Missouri. I am currently picking up milk every week from another local farm to have some farm fresh milk, and in the springtime it is so good because all the cows recently had babies, so they have a lot of extra milk right now and a lot of extra cream. We do have plans though very soon to go pick up our very own milk cow for the farm, and I'm so looking forward to having fresh milk and eggs for my breakfast every morning. I love being able to go out and gather as many food items from my farm as I possibly can and then turn that into meals. That really inspires me for all of my cooking. Here on our farm, we raise meat to sell to local customers. So the meat side of our farm is a business. We raise cattle for beef. We do pasture-raised pigs and pasture-raised chickens. We sell at a local farmer's market, and we sell in bulk to just local customers. So that side of the farm really is a business, and we run it like a business. But we do our laying hens, soon to be milk cow, and then we do a really big garden just for personal use. And that side of it is a hobby to us. So we're really excited that the weather is finally warming up and we can start enjoying gardening, which is something we really look forward to every summer. The garden is a lot of work during the summer months, but it's something that we really enjoy, and because we're doing it as a personal hobby, we don't feel the pressure from it like we do with the meat side of our farm, because that is a business, but this is for us to really enjoy. So this year, I am trying a few new things in the garden. I started some herb seeds, so that way I can have my own herb garden right outside my kitchen on our side porch. I ordered this Vigo raised bed, and I'm really excited for it. I got a 2-foot by 6-foot elevated raised bed. I was looking through their website trying to pick out which one I wanted for my side porch for these herbs, and I thought this elevated raised bed would be the perfect one on the side porch. It came with wheels, so we don't have concrete on our porch yet, but we plan to get some, and then this way I can easily roll it around in the shade, out of the elements, or push it out into the sun for the day, just really depending on what my plants need. This bed was a little bit tricky to put together, but once I really sat down and studied the directions and got all my pieces organized, it came together fairly easily. And I'm just so excited to get these herbs out there this summer and hopefully have fresh herbs all summer long for my cooking. I just think that's going to be such a fun element to add to my kitchen, to be able to step right outside and cut the herbs that I need for every meal. Vigo has a big website with so many different gardening things. I was looking on there at all the different options, and I can't wait to add more to my garden, more to my porch displays. I think these would be a great way to do an herb garden like I'm doing, a small porch garden, or even a really pretty flower raised bed. There's just so many options. This past weekend, we put in a big garden workday. So last year, we had to move our garden space. We were establishing new beds last year and trying to build up the soil. We did not grow a very great crop. This year, we're really hopeful that all of our efforts last year pouring into this new space will pay off and we'll be able to grow a lot better garden. So the first thing that we're doing is getting out here, reestablishing our bed areas, putting down some organic fertilizer. We took soil samples to really see what this space needed. Our goal is to build our garden here long term. We have 3 big garden spaces, all divided by walking rows, and then our gardening rows where we're adding compost and planting our plants. So each big bed, we plan to rotate our crops around every year, continue to take soil samples, and just really build on this space. We got a load of compost, so now we're planting all of our early spring plants. We're getting our onions in the ground. We got 4 different varieties of those. We're going to plant them in 2 different beds and hopefully have really good storage onions for this winter. We also have seed potatoes we are wanting to plant, some broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. Just get all of these early cool season plants in the ground to kick off our garden for 2026. For our potatoes, we do a deep compost method. So we just lay the potatoes on our bare row and then we cover it with loads of compost. So we picked up this compost from a local nursery. We are working towards trying to build more of our own compost on the farm, but for now we just hauled in a load of compost, and as we plant each row, we're just going to get every bed ready with fresh compost for the year. We have a lot of plans for different plants to grow this summer. I shared a video on that a while back with our big seed haul and everything that we plan to do in our garden this year. For us, since our garden is a hobby and not part of our business, we just work on it as we can. When we have a day, we'll spend a whole day out working in the garden, getting a lot of things planted or harvested, just depending on what task we have for that time of year. And then throughout the week, as we get time, we will enjoy an evening in the garden, just picking some fresh vegetables and just enjoying the beautiful scenery that a garden brings all throughout the summer months. Tonight, I am preparing a very simple springtime meal. I do this a lot in the spring and summer when I get so busy with all the tasks throughout the day, I forget to even think about dinner. So I rely on browning ground meat. And tonight I got some frozen ground sausage out of our freezer. We have a full freezer of pork from the pigs that we raised here on our farm last fall. And I'm just going to throw together a quick pasta meal using some of the extra cream from our milk pickup this week, and then make a quick pasta sauce with the sausage and some noodles. This is the type of meal I make so much throughout the summer months when we have all of our garden fresh produce, and that's because you can add whatever fresh vegetables you want to the pasta sauce to create a very hearty meal very quickly. So I'm so looking forward to having that fresh produce from the garden, fresh tomatoes to use, and just making these summertime meals with all these farm fresh ingredients, but keeping them really simple to cater to our busy schedule. I always try to keep some fresh homemade sourdough bread on hand just to add to the meal for an easy side. One of my favorite ways to use our sourdough bread is to make garlic cheese bread. It is so simple. I just drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil, add plenty of butter, some garlic salt, and then cover it with cheese, and then I just bake it just long enough for the cheese to melt and all that butter to really soak in and toast that bread. It is just such an easy side, something that I make probably at least a couple times a week.
When you're done, Mommy, go to
Even though we had a week of crazy weather with so much wind and then heat changing to cold fronts coming in, we were still able to get a lot done in our garden and get a lot of those spring crops planted and in the ground. So hopefully we will start having some fresh produce very soon. So much for following along for another week here on our farm. I so look forward to sharing more garden content with you guys in the future. If you have some plans for your garden this year, things that you're trying new, I would love to hear about it. With spring rolling around, I know we are all eager to get outside and just enjoy some beautiful sunny days. Thanks so much for watching.